Alrighty, guys. So good Monday morning. I hope everybody's had a good break. Um, Now today's topic is going to be just agent fundamentals, talking about what I did to get to where I'm at right now. How did that look like in my first 30 to 60 to 90 days? And the things I kind of implemented and the kind of do's and don'ts of the business that you will see that's going to allow you to kind of project to that next level and get to a point where, you're able to hit that 250,000 production mark or Hall of Fame or whatever your goal may be. So yeah. So this is going to be like my first 30 to 60 days, I think, coming into the business. First and foremost, if you don't know me, my name is Mo Bush. I've been in the business for about almost a year now, about to complete a year. And um, my first 30 to 60 days, I kind of struggled a little bit. I was still trying to learn. I came from Apple. I worked at Apple and I was a DoorDasher. So I didn't really um, you know, come from like a sales background or anything. But a lot of people in my family do have businesses, so I kind of know how to run a business in a sense, because I just learned from them over the years. But coming in here, I didn't have no sales background, no anything. I was fresh. I kind of was in that mindset where I was just talking to veterans like I was at Apple, like I was trying to sell them something over and over again. And so I kind of had to learn how to get away from that and shift my mindset and get it out of that sales mindset and get it into like that medical underwriter, like, hey, I'm just trying to help you kind of mindset. Um, Now going forward, fast forward after the first 2 months, my third month, I would say probably like in February or March, I would say by then I was producing about 20,000. So that's where I kind of started taking off and getting better in the business and kind of just putting the hours in because that's where I went full time in January when I quit Apple. So the numbers really shifted. I went from 6,000 a month to 12,000 to 20,000 by my third month into the business. Um, Fast forward after that, I invested more into my business, spending more money on leads. I started seeing 30, 40K production every month. And then it became 40, and then 45, and then 50. And then it became 50 consistently, and then 60. Now I can crack 70 like it's no problem. And that allowed me to hit Hall of Fame as well, first year. Shout out to Mahmoud Nasser and Hakeem and everyone else, Adnan as well, everybody that gave me advice and helped me throughout the, first year going through it. I'm gonna be honest, like I couldn't have done it without you guys' help and your advices and your guidance throughout the business. So I'm gonna talk about some of the poor habits that I did, some of the do's and don'ts that I, would really, really recommend that helped me as well get to that next level into the business. Now, first thing is I didn't protect my time. What does that mean? I've always allowed people to control my time and take away my time. So usually when I would come in the morning, I would dial for a bit, whatever. I would sell a policy. Oh, my mom calls me. Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? My sister, hey, can you come pick me up? Hey, can you do this? And I know a lot of you guys that have family can relate to this and siblings. But starting out my first 2 months, I did not protect my time whatsoever. I was talking too much to people after sales. Uh, I would, take really long lunch breaks that allowed, 2 to 3 hours, and I would lose like 2 to 3 hours of dialing time. And I'd come back and I'd only dial for like an hour or 2 hours, and I'm going home. Like realistically, like that's not cutting it. That's what I was doing my first 2 months, and that's why my production was only 6,000 for the month, and then 12,000 that second month. Now, some of you guys are doing 6 and 12,000 in a week your first weeks. That's a blessing thanks to the new systems and everything that we got in place. But it still goes back to that hard work and protecting my time when I did it. If I was able to protect my time, when people called me, like for example, I had, for like my friends and my cousin and everybody calling me, like talking about things throughout the day and their problems and venting to me, whatever it is. And I'm like, hey, I'm so like, listen, I gotta get back to dialing. I really like value my time. When I got to that point and I really understood how, the value of my time and protecting it, it really allowed me to kind of get to that next level and selling 20 to 30,000. If you don't protect your time, you're still gonna be at that five to $10,000 in a month, respectfully. That's where you're gonna be at, and that's where you're gonna stay. When I started protecting my time, I got to that 20, $30,000 a month phase because I realized that my time is the most valuable thing that I could have for myself. And nobody, not a single person can control that but me. And so it's up to me. How do I value that and how do I implement that into the business? The second thing that I didn't do right was having no schedule. Starting off, I was part-time at Apple, so I kind of had a schedule then because I was coming in from Apple after my 9 to 5 or coming in the morning and then going to Apple in the afternoon. So that was kind of annoying, obviously. Like that's just a given. Like that's something that I had to do. But when I became full-time into the business, I had no schedule. I just showed up and I just dial, go get food, spend 2, 3 hours, whatever, come back to dialing. I didn't really have a set structure. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't, play soccer as much because I was really focusing on this. So I had zero structure whatsoever in my, schedule. When I was playing soccer, I had a schedule. I was waking up at 5:30, praying, going to practice by like, 8 o'clock, show up, put your cleats on, do whatever. Practice starts at 9, from 9 to 12. And we had a very set, schedule, but I didn't have a set schedule coming into the business. And if you guys come up from a sport playing background, if you're an athlete, you can understand how having a schedule is very, very important and how different it's going to change for you when you start having a schedule. So when I implemented a schedule into the business, I was like, okay, I'm going to write down my schedule by hand so I can actually remember it because I'm the type of person where if I write something down, I'm going to remember it more likely than I do typing it. So I would write it down by hand and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to wake up at 7, do my daily prayers, eat breakfast, get my coffee, get into the office by 8:30 or 8. And I remember this because Marvin was telling me this. He said he literally gave me the life hack. He was like, show up at 7 or 7:30, do your back end work. So I would do my back end work, write applications, call the carriers, whatever I need to do. That takes a lot of time because you know damn well you're gonna be on the Americo line for about an hour, 2 hours. I'm gonna tell you this right now. You're not getting them, you're not getting a pickup until an hour, maybe 30 minutes, depending on the wait time. So I would do all that stuff by 9. We're already in the sales mastery training. Sometimes during the sales mastery training, I'm still on the phone with the carriers or calling clients trying to fix, failed premiums or whatever it is. So that's my back end work from 9 to 11 or 9 to 12. After the meeting, I'm dialing a little bit, but I'm mostly helping, agents as well. But starting off, I didn't have much agents or anything like that. So I was just focusing on dialing. So from 9 to 12, I was strictly dialing. From 12 to 2, that was my lunch. I say 2 because I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was taking a long time for lunch. And then after from 12 to 2, I get back to dialing. And from 2 to 7, I dial until the meeting, if we have a meeting. If we don't have a meeting, I'm still dialing until probably 8, 8:30. At 9, usually I'm closing up the books. I'm like, all right, I didn't get nothing today. I'm done. Sometimes I do stay till 10, but it depends on, my family. Sometimes my mom is like, hey, I need to get groceries, whatever. I get that and I take care of everything at night. When I realized how valuable my time was and I started taking care of everything else that's outside of the business at night, I realized that things became easier. And then I started going to the gym at night. Me and Hakeem would go to the gym almost every day for the past 6, 7 months. It helped me mentally. It helped me with my stress. It helped me, be clear whenever I wake up the next day. My body's sore. It feels good, doing all these things. So those are some of the things that help me when I have a schedule versus not having a schedule. And having a schedule, I'm gonna be honest with you, took me to that 30, 40, 40, 50 production. So I started producing 30, 40,000 when I started building that schedule and sticking to the team because it really takes you only 20 days to build a schedule and to stick to that schedule. When I got to the 30, 40, I got to the 40, 50. I started producing 40,000 and 50,000 back to back like it was no problem because I was on the same structure. I was on the same schedule. I was like a robot. I wake up every day and I do the same thing. I drive the same route. I get the same coffee. I do the same thing. I don't change nothing. I got into that routine. Another problem that I had when I started out is I was always muted. I never had my camera on. I was shy. I didn't like dialing in front of people. I hated dialing in front of Hakeem and Ahmad at the time in the same office because I felt like I was just gonna get clowned. But then when I really sat down and I started dialing and dialing with other people and dialing unmuted and having my camera on? Because I was coachable. It goes back to you being coachable. How are you coachable? That's the real question. You say you're coachable, like when someone asks you, "Oh yeah, you're coachable. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you got to be hard." But are you really coachable enough to unmute your mic and stay unmuted and have your camera on even when you feel uncomfortable for someone else to correct you and help you and give you, constructional feedback? Because the only way you grow is by getting constructional feedback, not from being a know-it-all. And so when I started learning how to just keep my mic unmuted, because I'd be on a phone call and I'd lift up my mic. I'd be like, yo, I got an objection for this. What do I say? Did you say this? Did you say that? I'm like, okay, okay. Do I say this? Okay. Boom. I go back to, because it's at the end of the day, we're going to try to help you. We're going to try to help you succeed. We're going to try to help you close the deal. We're going to try to help you do everything in our power to help you make money. But it depends on yourself and how much do you want to make money and how bad do you want it for yourself? Because I can only want it as bad as, as I want it for you. But how bad do you want it for yourself? The next thing is I never hopped on team calls that much, especially around the first 60 to 90 days. I was not on the team calls as much as I should be. I would literally try to skip them. I'm like, oh, we got a meeting, screw the meeting. I don't want to do that. Um, I always wanted to just keep dialing, keep dialing, I thought dialing was the solution to everything, which yes, it is, but it's to a certain extent. When I started hopping on the meetings and I started listening and taking advice and actually implementing everything they were saying, everybody from Playbook, everybody from All Star, everybody from here in Blueprint. So regardless of who was talking and who was producing, if they wasn't selling, at a 40, $50,000 level, I wasn't taking an advice from them. And that's something I'm gonna get into. But it was always me wanting to learn that got me better. And now I just crave meetings. I crave those, script trainings, no why, no buy, whatever it may be, those, team meetings. I crave them. I genuinely get so excited to be on them because it helps me actually learn from everyone else around me and not myself. The next thing is that I genuinely helped me like take a turn was, getting uncomfortable on when building the why. I had to ask like the uncomfortable questions. I had to really be direct. Starting off, I was very shy. Like I said, I was in that salesy mindset. So it didn't allow me to be uncomfortable to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna be like, John, are you sure you have enough money to, be able to take care of your burial or cremation? I know you got that in the savings, but you know what the savings is for. Like when I started out, I wouldn't say these things. Like I wasn't direct. I was scared. I didn't get uncomfortable challenging the client. And when that shifted and I started challenging the client and I genuinely like start to like actually like talk to them like they're my like son or whatever, like it got to a point where it started clicking for me. Like, okay, it's a doctor client relationship. They're gonna do what you say because you're the medical underwriter. These are vets. They're used to taking orders. They're used to, doing everything by the book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're used to it all their lives. So what makes you any different from anyone else? You're not. It's the same thing. Get uncomfortable when building the why, because those are going to be the main key things that help you actually sell. Because if there's no why, there's no buy. Assuming the sale. Assuming the sale. This is the next big thing. I want everybody to listen to this. No matter, okay, I want to do a little, little role play here. Tanner, can you unmute your mic, Fitz?
Yeah,
All right. So when I was assuming the sale, this is how it is, right? All right, Tanner, this is Mike with the Veterans Benefits Office. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Good, good. I got your date of birth here as so and so and so. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Someone else on mute. Someone mute. Someone turned their volume down. I'm sorry.
We're good.
Anyways, okay, so yeah, I got your date of birth here as so and so. Was your main concern, like most veterans, just wanting to make sure your funeral expenses are taken care of, or are you just looking to leave some extra money behind?
Just focusing on the funeral expenses.
Funeral expenses, okay. Now, do you have anything in place already to take care of
I
your
do.
funeral? Okay, I'm perfect. That makes my job a whole lot easier. How much is that?
$15,000.
15, okay. Is that through the VA or private sector?
The private sector.
Private. 15,000. You look like you're paying about, $80 a month, correct for that?
Correct.
Okay, okay, I got you. So when you submitted this, you're just looking to add a little extra coverage to alleviate that financial burden. You wanted to use that discount applied for your veterans discount.
Yes.
There you go, guys. It's just assuming the sale. When I got better at that, and I got better at combating the veterans and everything they say, I'm like, okay, now was your main concern? If he says no, that's not my main concern. I already got that taken care of. Perfect. You're just looking to leave some extra money behind for the mortgage, right? Oh, no, no, I got the mortgage taken care of. Okay, I understand. You're just looking to, get some extra money for your family to make sure that they have the bills paid around for whatever any kind of debt that you left behind, correct? Oh, no, no, I'm good. I'm all taken care of. Okay, so when you submitted this request, what was your main concern? That's when I start to ask because I get to a point where I ask 4 or 5 questions and that's it. It's assumptive. You have to be assumptive. The next thing that helped me really scale to the next level is when I was starting out, I was taking advice from the wrong people. There was people that were arrogant. There was people that were cocky. There was people that thought that I would never be shit in this business. There was people that, oh yeah, he got a big ego. He's never gonna. There was people in the business that thought of me like that. And I did not care. I was not taking advice from the wrong people. I was not listening to people who were, okay, yeah, you're selling 20, 30,000, but I really don't care how you're selling 20, 30,000. I want to learn how to scale a business. I'm going to go listen to that guy. When you start taking advice from the people that actually genuinely are doing the credibility, they're selling at a high rate, they're putting in the hours, they're building a business, those people that actually want to see you succeed on top of the ones that are already doing it are the ones that you want to, listen to. Because there's so many people in here that are not going to want to see you do well. There's so many people that are not going to want to see you do better than them. There's so many people that don't want to see you make $1 million, 10 million, 20 million. Deep down inside any of you guys right now, it doesn't matter who I am. I could be the most random person ever right now. It's you and yourself and you and your word in this business. But at the end of the day, if you take the wrong advice from the wrong people, it will take you to the wrong path. And the only way you scale is by listening to those that have done it. Like Mahmoud says, if you haven't sold $40,000, nothing you say will matter. I'm not going to listen to you because how am I going to teach Mr. Tanner how to sell 40,000 if I haven't done it? How am I going to teach Blake to sell 70,000 if I haven't done it? I can't. I genuinely can't. So when you start to take advice from the right people that are doing the right things by the right habits, that's when you'll start scaling your business to a next level. And it's not just selling, recruiting, training, everything. What are your poor habits outside of work? What are you doing outside of work? What are the things that you're putting in outside of work as much as you're putting in inside of your work, like inside the business here? It goes the same way. Just like how working out is important, eating is equally as important, if not more. Because how are you going to work out 7 days a week at the gym, but you're going to eat junk food and you're going to, you know, not really take care of your diet and you expect yourself to get lean? It's not going to happen, buddy. You got to take care of your diet as much as you got to take care of your, work. It's the same applying to the business. What you take care inside the business reflects on how you take care of outside the business. And what you do outside the business reflects on what you do inside the business. It's a snowball effect. Whatever you do will have an outcome. What must go up must come down. What goes down must go up. It's the same thing. It don't matter. So now that I've talking about all of these things, do I have any kind of questions or concerns about anything I just talked about?
A little bit more towards objections, Bush. I mean, how would you get past a power of attorney objection? Like when it comes down like banking, like I'll get all the way through the script, social everything, but when it comes to like payment method for power of attorney, like I never get it.
Is it because they don't have it or because they don't want to give it?
Well, it's because they don't have it.
So what I would do in that situation, bro, with that power of attorney, I'd be, trying to get their phone numbers, at least from like if it's their daughter or whatever. So I'd be like, okay, sir, I know your daughter is your power of attorney. Now, is there any way I can, reach out to Melissa to let her know about what we're kind of speaking about and what we're getting in place for you so I can at least finalize the paperwork and get that approval? It's that simple. And then if he gives you her number, bro, he'll literally probably call her right after you get off the phone and be like, hey, Melissa, so and so is about to call you. This, that. I kind of let them know. I'm like, yo, give your daughter a heads up. I'm gonna call her. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, bro, if she starts to, bitch at me and all that stuff and tell me, no, I don't want that. You're trying to scam this, that. I'm just like, all right, cool, bye. But 9 times out of 10, they're usually cooperative. So, yes, sir. Good question, though. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. I have a question. So you were talking a little bit about how you filtered out the people you get advice from. What's a good way to filter those people for some of the new guys? Because obviously all they see is the people, oh, he's got an office, he doesn't. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I don't like that. That's how, but that's just how reality is. That's how people are gonna think, especially when they're brand new or whatever. They're always gonna look at the offices, whatever, who's in the office, who's not. And that is why a lot of us are in the office because we are in a managerial position. We're managers. It's like Mahmoud, Hakeem, me, Hammar, Masri, and so on and so forth. Like all these people, are managers. You know what I'm saying? Marvin as well. He has an office, so he's a manager. So like all these people are managing a team. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Those are the people that, your brand new agent should be taking advice from are those managers, those people that are building a business, those people that are in the business. And you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like Mahmoud just said, you will earn them too. It doesn't just because we're in the office and you're not, doesn't mean you're not going to be in the office. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. But at the end of the day, the reason why I like this question is because, in my opinion, I feel like that if you bring in a brand new agent, have them ask, those managers, Mahmoud, Hakeem, Marvin, Masri, you know, myself, Austin, um, Coach K. Those are people that, are building a business, and those are people that have been in the business for a good bit, and those are good people to take advice from. So I would say those are your first people to go to right away. After that, like I said, it goes back to the numbers. Men lie, women lie, but the numbers don't lie. So if you want to look at the numbers and be like, oh, I want to go speak to Mo Bush because he just sold 40,000 for, the month of December or whatever, boom, do that. Because you have access to all the numbers, bro. You can see all my numbers. You can see how much I sell week by week. So
Thank you.
that's a
I
good one.
appreciate the
I got a
explanation.
question.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so Mo, I know you like juggle a lot, like in the business and outside the business. How do you really keep that bulletproof mentality? Because I know mentality is like everything coming into this business. Can you just like touch on it?
Yeah. So yeah, bro, at the end of the day, bro, in this business, it's me versus me, bro. And it's you versus you. It's you versus yourself every day versus your mind. You wake up every day, you in a battle with yourself already trying to fucking wake up. I know your mind is telling you, go back to sleep. The bed feels so good and nice and cozy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you, like you're in a mental battle from the moment you wake up. And how do you conquer your mind from the moment you wake up till you go to sleep? With what you say, controlling what you speak. Think before you speak. That goes to outside relations, not just in the business. Being able to come in here and genuinely put the work in, not complaining, not, crying about every little objection or getting angry that you're getting hung up on or whatever, and not letting those things get to your head. Because I see a lot of people, bro, they're over here like, oh, this guy, this so and so and so. Negative energy travels. Negative energy travels up all the time, and it's not good. So if you're coming in with that negativity, bro, by all means, it's not gonna work. When I'm having a bad day, when I'm going through something, I get out the office. I'm like, I am Mahmoud. I cannot be in the office because I don't want my energy to affect anyone else. That's just how I am. And you have to think for yourself is like, okay, what do I want for myself? Is your mom going to help you get to where you want to be right now? She's going to help you to an extent. Is your dad? Is your sister? Is your girlfriend? All of them are going to help you to an extent. But it's only you that helps yourself get to where you want to be. That's how it is, bro.
Appreciate it, bro. Dope.
Yes, sir. It's a good question, Demir. Appreciate that too. Any other questions, concerns?
All right, Bush. I kind of got a question that kind of relates to Demir's question. So I know you recently got engaged and stuff. How do you balance all your other stuff? Your religion, your marriage, and like this job. Like, how do you learn to balance all of that together?
Yeah, bro. I was actually talking about this to my fiance the other day, bro. Like, me and her have struggled over the past couple of months because I have been prioritizing this business so much and taking care of everything inside the business that sometimes when I get home, it's like I don't do that much. So it was like, for example, I was putting in 75% in the business and 25% in my life, right? And I had to bring that down. I had to bring that down to 50% and 50%. Giving my time to my people, my family, spending time with them on Sundays all day, Saturdays all day, making lunch with my mom, eating lunch with my mom, or taking my mom grocery shop, doing these little things. That's how you balance your life versus your work. Sometimes I like to work from home too, so I can have more time to spend with my family. Like now that I've gotten to a point where like I take like for example Friday, Saturday, Sunday I work from home and the rest of the week I'm at the office. It's not a problem, but as long as you're genuinely working and genuinely prioritizing your business and your family and you find that balance, you'll be able to, genuinely like get through anything because life is all about a balance. If something weighs more than the other, it's not going to work out. If the other weighs more than the other, it's not going to work out. You have to find balance within everything, bro. That's a good question too. Appreciate
Yo,
you, Mr.
Bush.
Fitz. Yes, sir, Mr.
Uh,
Santo.
I would say like, what is this like one single skill or something that you've learned from your time being in the business that has helped you drastically, that you think has grown you, whether it's your income, your mindset, whatever it is.
I think one thing that really helped me was really, really learning how to be consistent. All my life, bro, I was an inconsistent ass motherfucker, bro. I swear. In school, I had C's, sometimes D's, sometimes B's, A's. I wasn't the smartest. My ACT score was horrible. Like, I wasn't book smart at all. In sports and soccer, I was inconsistent. I wasn't always starting. I was benched, this, that. But when I went to England my freshman year, I sat with this guy, and this guy, he was a coach at a soccer team, and he basically said, soccer isn't about what you could do with your feet. It's about how you can control every aspect of the game with your mind. And so when I learned that, and I started to genuinely control every aspect with my mind, whether that's my emotions, whether that's what I eat, whether that's how I talk, how I speak, how I'm spoken to, all those things relate back to everything else that we're kind of talking about. And when I started actually shifting my mindset to that level, it became to a point where I was genuinely consistent in soccer as well. I was always starting. I never got benched. I was always scoring goals, assisting. Even if I didn't score goals or assist, I was some type of game changer or a consistent player. I was one of those guys that I was always consistent, bro. You know what I mean? Didn't get hurt, was never injured. Everything was good. So I took that and I just transferred it to the business because this business is the same way. You got to control every aspect with your mind. And if you learn how to control every aspect of it with your mind, whether that's dialing, whether that's recruiting, whether that's training, whether that's using your time wisely, it's all going to play a part in being consistent. And consistency was the number one thing that kind of helps me go back to your question on how that was the number one thing that kind of helped me scale to that next level in the business.
Oh yeah, bro, that's fire. And then just to kind of touch on that as well, what would you say is one thing that you had to unlearn or just not believe in anymore that really growed your income, or just basically the same question, but something that you had to unlearn or stop
Basically
doing?
that, yeah, basically that I always believed there was a cap. I always thought that there was a cap. I was like, bro, there's no way I can deposit 40 grand. There's no way I can deposit 50, 60 grand. I was always like, nah, bro, there's no way, right? So I was like selling like 20, 30, and I would deposit like, 15, 20, whatever. And then I started getting up there, you know what I'm saying? And I think it was when I first hit that 75,000, or yeah, it was like 75,000 for the month. That's when it really hit me. I'm like, damn, I just deposited 64, 65 for the month, bro. And that was like when I was speaking on stage, you know what I'm saying? So it was crazy to see kind of get to that next level when I literally was talking about it and trying to speak it into existence. And I was like, nah, there's no way. It's just believing in yourself, bro, because there is a way. And it's like, bro, like you see all like the Philly motherfuckers like depositing like over 200 grand. Why not you? Why not me? Why not him? You know what I'm saying? Why not her? It don't matter. Because if they can do it,
Right.
bro, we can do it 10 times bigger. And I think that's what we're coming for quarter one, guys. So if there's any more questions or concerns, that's pretty much it for the meeting. Um, I love you guys. Let's make it a great Monday morning. Let's get that momentum going. And yeah, peace and love, baby.
Yes, sir. Appreciate your time, Bush.